Good evening. Tonight, you're going to hear the story of two amazing and some brave young men. First up is Jack. Jack is 14, and on a routine trip to the beach with his family, Jack found himself caught in a rip. Jack's father was watching his son struggle from the shoreline and went in to save him. For 45 minutes, arm in arm, both Jack and his father battled the rip before they were able to make it back to safety. As Jack was heading towards the shore, he noticed his mum screaming and his older brother running towards him. What Jack didn't realise was that his father had collapsed and was swept back out to sea. A nearby surfer picked up Jack's dad and patted him back into shore, where he began CPR. Unfortunately, Jack's dad suffered a massive heart attack and died on the beach that day. So we now have a 14-year-old who carries the heaviness of blaming himself for his dad's death. His relationship with his older brother is extremely volatile because he too blames Jack for their father's death. He becomes withdrawn, he becomes angry, and he gives up the one thing he loves most, and that's his AFL football. Then there's Noah, who's 8 years of age. Noah comes from a beautiful, loving and caring family, an amazing mother, an inspirational big brother to look up to, an inspired dad who just recently won Business Person of the Year. You could say for Noah and his family that life was pretty perfect. Until one day, when both Noah and his older brother were sat down by his parents and explained that their father had cancer. Noah had to witness his dad battle the dreaded disease for 2 years until it got the better of him. Now, aged just 10 years of age, Noah has to navigate his way through life without his dad. Sadly, kids like Noah and Jack aren't alone. 1 in 20 Australian children will lose a parent before they reach the age of 18. To put that into perspective, for those of you in the audience tonight who have got school-aged children, there was most likely a bereaved child in their classroom at school. Does anyone in the room know how many bereaved children there are between the ages of 7 to 17? No? There's just over 300,000. And on top of that, there is also sibling and legal guardian loss, so the numbers are huge. As a Western society, we haven't learned how to treat those who are grieving very well. And kids like Jack and Noah, well, they become the forgotten ones. We expect bereaved kids to move on and just get over it. For those of you who have lost in the audience tonight, I'm sure would agree with me that this approach to healing is completely false and absolutely wrong. Studies have shown that unresolved grief and trauma in children can severely affect the child's upbringing. You know, they experience things such as anxiety, drug and alcohol addiction, self-harm, severe mental health issues, and the list goes on and on for these children throughout their lifetime. We at Feel the Magic, we feel we have created a solution, and it's called Camp Magic, Australia's largest and leading grief education and support program, which supports bereaved kids and teens between the ages of 7 to 17 who have lost a parent, sibling, or legal guardian. The Camp Magic program has been built on 4 values. It's empathy, empowerment, growth, and connection. So empathy is key. You know, as us as adults, when we tend to hear of a child who has gone through a traumatic experience such as death, we feel sorry for them. We pity them. Kids don't need our pity, they need our understanding. If you pity a child long enough, they develop a victim mentality, and that's something they live with for the rest of their life. So at Camp Magic, we understand, we empathise. We empower them to talk about something so confronting and so painful that even us adults don't know how to talk about. When a child implements the tools that they learn at camp, they grow as an individual. And last but not least, we have connection. So when a child like Jack and Noah walk through the front gates of Camp Magic, they are greeted by 59 other children who are going through exactly the same thing. It's a safe place, again, where kids like Noah and Jack create connection on a deeper level that few others can, because they get it. They just get each other's pain. Here's Jack now at age 16. This is at his second Camp Magic program, and he's with his mentor, Brad. So Jack's had some amazing results after 2 Camp Magic programs, which I'll share a few of them with you today. He still carries a little bit of guilt around losing his father, but he no longer completely blames himself. He's returned to his beloved AFL football. He's got his anger under control. And the one that I love most, which touches me the most, is he's gone back to the scene where his father died and swam in the ocean to gain some sort of closure. That's quite powerful stuff for a 16-year-old boy. And then we have Noah. Well, I'd like to share Noah's story, but I'd rather get Noah up on stage himself, and he can let you know how he's changed after attending Camp Magic. Please welcome to the stage, Noah.
Thanks, James. Why him? Why us? Why me? At 10 years old, I didn't know what grieving was. All I knew was that I was angry. My family was torn apart. I felt alone and different from everyone else. This is how I felt before Camp Magic. At the talk time sessions, I shared my story with ease, knowing the other kids understood. I no longer felt alone. The talk time leaders supported and educated me how to learn to live with the loss of my dad. There were many shared experiences, including ziplining on a flying fox, fun team games, and something I thought was a powerful and memorable moment was when we wrote messages to our loved ones and put them on a campfire, using the sparks as a way of connecting with them, a way of talking to them. Camp Magic brought out the confidence in me to talk about my story and my feelings, and not to be embarrassed that I'd lost my dad. Since Camp Magic, some of my achievements have been obtaining my black belt in karate, being named school captain, receiving the All-Rounder Award, being a part of the school, the high school leadership team, and gaining part-time employment. Thank you.
So he looks very different from the photo that was up there earlier, but how old are you now, Noah? 14 or 15?
14.
14. So $1,000 changes the life of a grieving child just like Noah and Jack. What were you telling me at the back about what $1,000 means to you?
$1,000 to you is just money, but to someone like me, it's life-changing.
Amazing. Thank you. Guys, as I said earlier, there's 300,000 children out there that are bereaved, and plus sibling and legal guardian loss. So we want to reach as many as we can. We have a 5-year plan of taking our services nationwide, and we began that process earlier this month by taking our programs to regional New South Wales. In April next year, in 2019, we are going to the ACT and continue our programs in Sydney. So each camp we take on 60 kids, as you can see in this photo here, and each child is matched with an adult mentor. So for $1,000 per child, it costs our organisation $60,000 to fund one Camp Magic program, and that's dramatically changing the lives of 60 bereaved children from all over the country. So I really hope tonight has really highlighted the importance of early intervention of childhood grief, and I thank you all so much for hearing me pitch and hearing Noah pitch, and thanks again, and hopefully you've had a great night and got something out of our presentation. Thank you.